All right, hey guys, my name is Quinn Dawson, and I'm here today with Yale's head basketball coach, Mr. James Jones. I'm sitting here in his office in Yale's RTH, which is the athletic field house essentially, and I'm just going to ask him a few questions about advice he has for recruits who are going through the recruiting process to play college basketball. And I'm just going to start it off with, as a Division I coach, you've been coaching here for over 20 years. What is the best way you think for an athlete to try to get on a coach's radar when they're going through the recruiting process?
Well, it's done in a variety of ways, but I think the best way for kids is to get with an AAU program, a summer program, where they can be the player that they feel that they are. What I mean by that, they don't want to go to play for a team where they have to play the 4 if they're a point guard, or if they're a 5-man, they don't want to play a 3. You need to get in the right situation. So if they can get in the right situation where they can show what they do best, that's really one of the best ways for guys to show colleges who they are and how good they are.
Gotcha. And kind of to piggyback off that, obviously being a part of an AAU program is incredibly important for basketball. Are there any showcases or camps and stuff like that you look at? Obviously Yale has a camp. How important is it to go to the camps at the schools that you are interested in, you think?
Well, certainly if you're under the radar, if you don't have a quality AAU program in your area, it'd be great to go to colleges and play in front of the coaches that you're interested in playing for. I mean, that's a great way to do it. And we've found about a kid a year through our camp that we have here, and it's been very helpful for us. So that's really important. In terms of the AAU circuit, if you play with one of the major sneaker programs, either Nike or Under Armour or Adidas, if you're playing for one of those three, that gives you an opportunity to be seen by a wide range of coaches at many different levels.
Gotcha. And so those are the main camps and things, or not the camps, I should say. Those are the tournaments you're going to want to be at, are the ones that have these premier brands that are sponsors.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not on one of these main teams, it's definitely important to try to be involved or play against those big teams so you can show you can play with them.
Well, no question, but the exposure is something that is invaluable.
Right.
You can't, if you go to one of these major tournaments, say in April, they're coming up next month, we're going to go. There's some in Texas and Indiana and California and all over the country. If you're playing in one of those, basically every coach, every program in the country is going to be there at some point. And if you're in a situation where you can show that who you are as a player and play your best, it gives you a great opportunity.
Awesome. So now moving past that, for a player, obviously it's important to excel at the high school level as well as the AAU level. What are some things that you think a player can do to prepare themselves to succeed, whether it be physically or mentally, that could help them succeed in high school but also can prepare them for the college level?
Well, obviously strength training is really important. I think the biggest difference between high school players and the guys that play in college is their strength. Not as much as their skill level or any of that. Most of it's going to be their strength level is going to be a huge difference. Playing men and boys, so to speak. So getting into the gym and then working out and lifting and getting bigger and stronger, that's really important. And what you really want to show coaches, at least here, you want to show some toughness. And the more muscle you have, the bigger and stronger you are, the easier it is to do that. But if the ball's on the ground and it's loose, if you're thinking about going to go get it, you're probably not going to be very good. You're not going to get the ball because somebody's already on it. The ball's going the other way. And the teams that have players that get those 50-50 balls or loose balls, those are the teams that win.
Absolutely. So these are all been very helpful advice things, and obviously I feel like a lot of the people that use our site are going to find these very helpful. But now I kind of want to shift gears a little bit and get more into the an anecdotal side of things. And so a question that we had is, what is the craziest way that a player or a parent or a coach has tried to market an athlete to you in the recruiting process?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. Is that a couple of years ago we went to the NCAA tournament. Makai Mason had a great run. Scored 31 points against Baylor and was the darling of the first round. Was all over the airways. And one of the young men that we were recruiting, or wanted to recruit us, I should say, he ended up taking a picture of Makai from that tournament and taking a picture of himself, cutting the head out, and pasting it on top of Makai, and telling us that he was the next Makai Mason.
There you go. So he's telling you in high school that he's going to be the next darling of the NCAA tournament.
Exactly right.
Well, hey, I mean, whatever works, right?
Whatever works for you.
So now I'm curious, is that athlete being recruited by Yale currently? Or was he recruited?
No, he was not, but I actually just found out he will be playing in Ivy League.
Wow, interesting. So you get to play him twice a year.
Twice a year, 8 times at least over the course of his 4 years.
There you go. So we'll find out if he's the next Mackay Mason.
Exactly right.
All right, and now my last question is one that everyone is very interested in right now. Obviously, we're dealing with the Final Four show up this weekend, and you're going to be attending. And the big story, obviously, is Loyola Chicago and their Cinderella run with Sister Jean and everyone rooting for them. And every time this happens, every time there's a mid-major that makes it through the Final Four, there's a lot of talk about can these smaller schools or these smaller programs from these non-power conferences compete at the highest level. So what do you think that Loyola Chicago's success says about how competitive mid-majors are, and why do you think athletes should seriously consider attending these schools?
Well, I tell you what, it's a fit, right? You want to get a great fit for you. You want to go someplace that works for you. And the first thing you should do when you make a decision is base it on what kind of education you're going to receive. So if you're doing that, maybe some of the big schools aren't the ones you want to look at. And if they're not, but you still want a quality basketball experience, you can certainly feel good about getting it at this level, at the mid-major level, because not only are the Loyola Marimounts of the world, the VCUs, there are a number of teams that have been able to get to the NCAA tournament in the Final Four from this mid-major level and do quite well. So I think that the most important thing is to pick a school that works for you academically and works for you athletically, and then move on from there. But you don't have to feel like you need to go to one of the blue bloods to be really successful and get to the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone has seen that. There's more upsets this year than there's been in almost 2 decades.
No question.
And so, obviously, you said Yale won a couple years ago. Penn played competitively against Kansas this year. I mean, people from all levels are being very competitive. And now, just in closing, do you have any parting advice for recruits, something that I didn't touch on, anything that you'd like to share with people? Maybe a plug for Yale here in the last couple seconds.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, the one thing that you like to tell young people is to make sure that you get advice from people who care about you, and the people that are going to give you the straight line on what's going on. Because a lot of times there are people out there that are telling you what you want to hear, not so much what you need to hear. And sometimes you shy away from those people that tell you what you need to hear. Those are the people that you should be, embracing and understanding about who you are. And because you always want to get better. And most of the time that when you hear negative things about your game and what you're doing is something that you don't want to hear, but maybe you need to hear those things to improve, to get to the point in life that where you want to be.
Absolutely. It's very helpful. And thanks again, Coach.